Well, when drugmaker Eli Lilly announced it was slashing the price of insulin and capping users' out-of-pocket costs at just $35 a month, it was major news. But the company only has 23% of the insulin market, and that means millions of Americans who saw those flashy headlines are asking, what about me? Well, I talked to a Clarkson woman with that very question and a professor who calls the announcement an example of greenwashing. Nicole Gambino is one of the more than 37 million Americans living with diabetes. She was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes in middle school.
I had blood sugars way over 1,000, and I almost passed away from that at 12 years old.
For 31 years, insulin has been keeping Nicole alive. But before getting health insurance, she recalls rationing insulin in college when times were lean.
I remember being in the hospital and nurses saying, they feel bad for what happened, and that I wasn't the only person that was in that situation.
Now, you might think Eli Lilly's move to cut prices by 70% and cap out-of-pocket cost of insulin to $35 a month would be welcome. Is that good news for you?
That is not good news for me. I do not take the Lilly insulin.
Nicole is not alone. Eli Lilly has less than half of the global market share of fellow pharma giant Novo Nordisk. So millions of Americans are missing out on the price cut.
When you look below the headlines, it's not all that impressive what Eli Lilly is doing.
Oakland University professor Michael Greiner says Eli Lilly is cutting prices on older legacy drugs, not the newer, more expensive and more profitable medications.
This comes after a decade in which they've raised price, I believe, by about 1,000% for insulin. So this is not some act of generosity.
He calls the change greenwashing. That's when a company tries to make up for past problems by doing good today. Greiner says the likely spark is political pressure in Washington and California's plans to manufacture its own insulin.
So I think a big part of what we're seeing here is an effort by the company to try to essentially get a hold of what's a growing crisis for them.
Dr. Brandon Carmo says whatever the reason, the Eli Lilly price cut will increase access to insulin, and he hopes other drug makers follow suit. He says he's more likely to prescribe insulin by Eli Lilly when price is a factor.
Because we know with uncontrolled diabetes, you're at significantly higher risk for stroke, for heart attack, for vision loss, for kidney failure.
Nicole says all insulin should be low cost or no cost and is frustrated that a life-saving medication remains out of reach for millions of Americans.
It's just not fair to people like us, and I feel that everybody deserves a right to live.
Now, if you're struggling to pay for insulin, talk to your doctor about switching over to one of Eli Lilly's non-branded insulins. Not all insulins are the same, and it's important to work with your doctor to make that switch safely so you can find the right product and, of course, continue to protect your health.